Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
I am so honored to be here with you guys today. I want to thank Dr. Johnson for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you guys today. I'm not new to fatherhood, but I'm new to fatherhood field and fatherhood programming. I am proud to be attending this conference as a partner of Fathering Strong, a division of Urban Light Ministry, which is based here in Ohio. As part of the Fathering Strong, I will be facilitating through my 7-step curriculum, which educates and empowers dads to be more present in their kids' lives. I'll be working with a lot of dads with kids with special needs. I live in Austin, just like the MC said, with my wife Katie. I'm a stay-at-home father to 3 boys, my son GJ, my son Max, and my son Cooper. Our middle son Max, he has Down syndrome and autism. As I look over the conference material and the stuff that's going on, I am your target for fatherhood programming. I am the future of fatherhood, and I hope to inspire the next generation of fathers. I grew up without a dad. I've never seen my dad. I've never met him. I don't even know anything about him or what he looks like. I grew up in the projects of Greenville, South Carolina. My mother had a 7th grade education. I craved a dad when I was a young kid. When I was like him, I craved a dad. I wanted someone to push me on the football field, pick me up from school, play catch with me. I didn't have that. You've heard the story before. A poor, hungry kid from the projects. My middle school and high school years are similar to the movie The Blind Side. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know about that movie, The Blind Side. I met a white family named Monty and Jackie who took me under their wing. Monty was the first man who I ever loved and who gave me love in return. I remember going over to their house for dinner one day and feeling so uncomfortable because the table was set with plates and silverware and napkins and all that, and I had never seen that before. The pantry was stocked with food. I had never experienced anything like that before. Monty was the first person in my life who believed in me that I would not be selling drugs on a corner or working in a factory. When I was in high school, my 10th grade year, I became homeless. I stayed in a crack house for about 6 months during my high school years. And most people ask me all the time, why didn't you tell Jackie and Monty? Up to that point, I couldn't tell them that because they had did so much good for me, and I couldn't burden them with have to take on a teenager and house him and, put clothes on his back and everything. So, as a young boy, I was, having to make grown-up decisions very early. This caused my grades to plummet. From that point, I had no scholarship offers. I had nowhere to go. And back then, it's not like it is now where you can do everything through social media. And so Monty got this contact from a college 2,000 miles away from my home out in Bakersfield, California. When I was 18, Monty convinced me to go out to Bakersfield, California. I did not want to go out there because 1, I had never been on a plane. 2, I had never left the city of Greenville. And 3, I had no earthly idea where Bakersfield, California was located. No, I didn't, I swear to you. I told Monty all I wanted to do was get a job in a factory back home so I could support myself. Monty said to me, George, it's too late. I've already bought the ticket. You're going to go. Out there at Bakersfield, I was coached by the great Carl Bowser. For the next 2 years, that coach, like a father figure, he took me under his wing. He pushed me like I always wanted to be pushed by Dad, and he built up my self-esteem about myself. I will go on, just like the MC said, to break O.J. Simpson and Marshall Faulk's record and later become the 1%. The 1% meaning making it to the NFL. But that really wasn't a dream of mine to make it to the NFL. Most people think it was, but that wasn't. My dream was to be a dad one day. I wanted to be a dad that was there for his kids every step of the way. So I didn't want to have kids while I was playing football. So in 2007, when me and my wife's Katie's firstborn was born, man, I tackled fatherhood just like I tackle football. I was all in, sun up to sundown. And, my wife would tell me all the time, George, football and fatherhood is different. But I wouldn't listen. I was so, just enamored with being a father, I wouldn't put our son down to even use the bathroom. I wouldn't. I was so attached to him. My wife tried to coach me, but I wouldn't listen. I would not listen to her. So our son, as he was getting older, around 3 years old, I started to coach him in sports. I was his trainer, his manager, his coach, pretty much everything. And so I'm asking my wife, dear, would you record, the game so I can go back and look at the games with GJ? And so as mind you, again, he is 3 years old. And so I was already doing wrong right there because I was not being a father to him. I was trying to build an athlete, which at that time was not right. And to this day, it still hurts me when I go back and look at the videos and watching me coach him on the sideline. I was one of those dads, and you guys know from, being around sports, I was one of those guys who was a lunatic out there. I was, going crazy, and I was asking, my 3-year-old son to do things that he was not capable of doing. And so to this day, even talking about it right now, it still hurts. After that, about 3 years passed, and I don't know if you guys seen this documentary called The Book of Manning. Have you guys heard of that, The Book of Manning? So it's about Archie Manning and his 3 sons, Cooper Manning, Eli, and Peyton Manning. You can see Peyton out here in the Hall of Fame, if you guys go and do that. So I reached out to Archie. I reached out to him as I was looking at that documentary. It spoke to me. It really did. It spoke to me. So I reached out to Archie and I asked him for help about being a better father to my 3 boys. I did that. And from that point, I started calling every father that I perceived to be a good father and pick their brain, asking them what they did right, what they did wrong. I just wanted to be the best possible dad to my kids, and I was not afraid. I was vulnerable to ask questions, to get help. I think, and like I tell my sons, it's okay to be vulnerable and ask questions. That's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of growth. So with that, I end up creating the Present Dad Foundation, where we help dads to be truly present with their kids. This week's conference theme, honoring the past, embracing the future. This is just the beginning. So many great fathers before me that I've been able to learn from, but I had to be willing to learn. I had to be vulnerable and willing to ask for help. This is the biggest part of my journey, is to show other men, particular black men, that asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. What many people don't know when they look at me and they look the muscles and all that. I'm a dad who struggles with depression. I struggle with anxiety. I didn't deal with my traumas until my late 40s. I said I would never see a therapist. I was one of those guys. I would never see a therapist, take medicine, but doing all that saved my life. And I did it for my boys to be the dad they needed me to be. Now, I work to challenge other fathers to talk to one another about their challenges as fathers and parents. How many times Are they truly spending, how much time are they truly spending with their kids? Are they walking the walk and talking the talk, showing their vulnerability? We have a huge responsibility to mold and shape these young humans. I made a mistake with GJ, and he still remembers that to this day. It still hurts me today. Growing up without a dad still hurts me today. Recently, I was in Bakersfield, California, and I was speaking to a class of third graders. This young boy raised his hand. He said, "Will you help my dad?" We often talk about the resiliency of kids, but how often do we talk about the pain that they feel? The unintentional ouches we as parents cause because we're too busy, too distracted, and just flat out too tired. This young boy had the awareness to know that his dad needed help. And I know this is why we're all here in Canton today. To ensure when a little boy raises his hand and asks for help, we can give him that help. I truly appreciate all you guys taking the time to listen to me and what I have to say, and I'm truly honored to be here. Dr. Johnson, I appreciate everything. God bless everybody, and I hope you guys have a good conference.